Hi guys, welcome back to K-pop Talks, and we're gonna do our weekly K-pop recaps and reviews of the newest comebacks of different groups, soloists, people that I normally care about their music and want to talk about and stuff like that, whether in a positive or negative manner. I originally recorded this part, which was supposed to be the second part of September already, like 10 days ago, not a week ago, pretty much at this point, because today is the 27th, and I is it 27th? 28th? I recorded the 20th, but for whatever reason, the recording of the music videos completely went away and the audio, so I had to reshoot it. So that's really nice. And I only had time now and only care about doing it now. So I'm gonna include this part as well in the news in this week and see how it goes. And let's start immediately without wasting too much time. First song is by Sorn featuring Yeon, which was obviously her label mate at the time. She also decided to leave Cube sometimes ago with Nirvana Girl. And Sorn really surprised me. I think I've talked about this a million times, but I remember she was very cocky when she came out of the company. She was talking a lot of shit, obviously in a subliminal manner through her social media. But I mean, she has been making really good music since she left. So that wasn't just random confidence. She showed that she can make music at a really good level, and she has been doing this response for a very good time. This song is definitely more fun, I would say. It's definitely more the fun side, the more like of the party side of things. But she's good. Obviously, her vocals are really good. I think the production that she chooses are very good. I don't know if she produces herself the tracks or not, but in case she does, congrats to her. Or if not, she's very good at choosing the producer and the production, and they probably work very, very well with each other. But another element of it is Yeon. I think Yeon gives a good feature. It's nice to see two ex-CLC girls working together and making good music. There's nothing really more to say. Next we have Blackpink, anticipated comeback with Shutdown, a month later Pink Venom pretty much. And I think it was an odd choice. I don't hate this song specifically, but this is a classic B-side. I don't view it as a true single for a song. Normally, a single has to be something more memorable. And again, like while it's different and it's memorable in that sense, I definitely feel like the girls themselves not the girls, like the company itself decided to go with something a little bit different because they've heard the criticism of doing the same stuff over and over again. The song is fine, but I don't like the rapping sections as much. It's the problem with Blackpink is I think unfortunately since YG left they became too formulaic, and YG is the owner, YG is the face. You can say whatever you want about the guy, but the guy definitely knew how to run a company, and he would not allow a group to make 3 or 4 songs in a row sound the same, specifically singles. I feel like now Blackpink is where they're supposed to be. They're a popular group. Obviously, they're extremely popular when it comes to social media, specifically the individual girls are. But unfortunately, their music have been trapped by everything else, which is their looks, their popularity, their fashion, the music videos. Rarely people really talk about their music, which it's not just because there isn't enough of it, but even the few of it there is, it's not that impressive, unfortunately. Again, if we leave 2016, which again, as I said a million times, to me it's arguably the greatest rookie year I've ever seen, by any group, because it was so good, it was different, and it was fresh, and it was daring. They were trying different things, And it's all that. It's a fine song. Personally, I'm not gonna go back to it. Next we have Vapo featuring Maison Omi, Wanna Go Home, if I remember correctly. No, Wanna Know, my bad. And yeah, it's different. I mean, Vapo here is singing, he's using his autotune. I can't say the lyrics are the most interesting thing ever, but I like him singing in here on this production with this style. I think it fits a little bit better. I think that kind of like gangster type of person he always wants to portray, it's not here, so it's more enjoyable. Maison Home brings a good feature, different energy, I think a different vocal aspect to it, different, more greedy, more deep, a little bit older in that sense, but the song is enjoyable. I really enjoy it. I think it's a good, interesting change of pace by Vapo, which I didn't expect from him. I thought I was gonna hear the same thing again like he normally does every time. Next we have Luna with Luminous. This is a Japanese single. I've heard nobody talk about it on the internet. No Luna fans, no anybody was talking about this comeback. Now I don't know if they promoted it at all, but it's very interesting how Luna had one of the most rabid fan bases I think I've ever seen on the internet, to then go back into so much irrelevancy once people stopped using them as an excuse to be mean and hurtful on the internet. But I mean, yeah, listen, in my opinion, this is a good song. It's a pretty good song. I like how they fuse the K-pop side of things with the more J-pop side of things. The production is fine. I think the more like spoken words, the rapping section are good. The chorus is really enjoyable, and I think it's a very good track by Luna. Next we have Kraxi with Real. Different change of pace from them. It's a different style, a change of pace from them. They normally have this very strong image. They've had a comeback recently which was very reminiscent of Dreamcatcher, and here it's more of a classic K-pop girl group song. From the aesthetic, from the sound, from the production, it shows range. And I think the company has the balls to do that, which is respectable, and the girls as well, So I like how they're not pigeonholing them into one specific style. And people can criticize it, but I think personally, if you ask me, they're playing the long run, which is smart. You're not debuting in IBE, SMY, GJYP, so you're not guaranteed a level of success for nothing. You have to work for it. So you have to go the Astro, the B2B, the AXID route, where, I'm not G-Fan. My job is not to be the most popular group, it's to build an audience, build a sound, build an aesthetic, build quality, and then if I get the hit, I already have a fan base, I already have a base, which then I can grow from, I think, again, EXID is probably the one that would, I think partially Mamamoo, but Mamamoo was very successful from the start, really. Like, maybe not their first single, but after that, I think they've been consistently popular. In the case of groups like EXID, it took them longer, Different took them a little bit longer, B2B, they had a little success, but they got them bigger with time, so consistency is what matters for these groups, I think, and I think it's good to see a group actually valuing that in their company as well. Their label, like, they're not just throwing them and giving them a comeback a year and disappearing. They seem to be putting a lot of effort in music, the style, and the quality, which is a good thing. I enjoyed this song. We have NCT 127 with Two Baddies. This is probably the first time in a long time, I would say. I haven't really enjoyed that much NCT 127 single, because for me the problem with this one really is it's like it has nothing interesting about it. Like, they try to fuse all the stuff they've done in the past, sound wise, production wise, but it's the same thing at this time. Like, they've somehow became formulaic as well. I've never thought NCT 127 was the best unit, but I've always thought they were probably the most consistent, and this is I think a disappointing comeback for me personally. From production, I think it's too basic. I've heard this a million times with them. The lyrics are basic. It's kind of cringe with the chorus. Like, it's one thing when you used to do regular. To me, like, you're trying hard, but it's still like an image. So then you're just trying a little bit too much for me personally, instead of just being more of yourself, which at the end of the day, you did it originally, you did it even last year. I thought Kick was a good song. It was a really enjoyable single, so I wish they stayed more in the lane, but I'm pretty sure fans are gonna love it. Personally, not the biggest fan of it. Next we have Mimi Rose with Rose. Yeah, it's a pretty good song. I enjoyed it quite a bit, The only thing I don't like about this is the chorus, is the drop, really. It feels like I've heard it drop a million times, but the vocals are good. I feel like the girls definitely have like personality, but I don't know, the production could be better in my opinion. There's certain things about the production just like feel like they've been reused, of like how do you say it, it's something you've heard a million times from different groups, from different genres, even outside of Korea. You wish that companies spend a little bit more time in that, but I also understand it's a safer choice, so I enjoy it, but objectively it's not one of the strongest songs these last like pretty much 10-15 days. Next you have Weinstein with Cassie. I haven't heard this Weinstein single in some time, because he's been collaborating a lot these last 3 to 4 months. Actually, no, I'll say 6 to 7 months. It's been the majority of the year, really, for me. But the thing that I really found interesting about this song specifically is production, the way he fuses vocals and rapping. He switches from them effortlessly. Music video, really like it. I don't know why it reminds me a little bit of like Edward Scissorhand. Like obviously it's very horror, kind of Frankensteinish and whatever. But I think he's very, very talented artist. Anybody can see it, everybody can hear it, and he's daring. He doesn't seem to be wanting to just like go the easy route in a way, which is do what Loco and, for example, Crush have done for a very long time, which while they're good artists, I can't even say that Loco is the most daring risk taker in the Korean hip hop scene. So one scene at least has that edge, which I think can really help him. And I don't know if he released an album yet, but if he did, I'll definitely check it out because I'm curious. Next we have PH1 with Zombie and Tipsy. He uses 2 songs from his latest album. Latest project in one music video. There's Zombie first, then Tipsy. Zombie is the weaker of the two in my opinion. It's more modern, the production is modern. His rapping is I think a little more shallow. Like it's fast, it's cool, the flow is nice. I think even the chorus is not as good as Tipsy. Tipsy is way better song in my opinion. It's interesting thing was in the music video there's the super colorful, like strong colors, then it goes into black and white. And I think it's a trend actually, I would say not only in his album but even in his music video recently. Like the singles that he chose is like the ones with the black and white aesthetic, which I would say even they also have like a black and white sound in my opinion, which means for me a classic hip-hop sound. They're just the best track he has released, because while they have element of modern hip-hop and pop music, he fuses them in a way that I think is more intelligent. It's only something that I think he cares about a little bit more. It's clear to me that when he takes a more serious classic sampled production, hip-hop production, he wants to focus more on the lyricism, on the even on his vocals. I think it gets better. So yeah, I would say this is something you're gonna hear on also this project. His best tracks are the what I call in his review the black and white tracks, which for me are the classic hip-hop sounding songs with a little bit of K-pop and a little bit of Korean hip-hop and a little bit of PH1 in them, but still respectful to the genre. While the other ones are good, they're decent, they're not bad, but they don't stand out as much as I think at this batch of songs they has released, in my opinion. NMIXX on NMix with Dice. This should have been their debut, 100%, because while there's still the quirky, weird production elements, the distortions, the changes of pace, the weird like ad-libs vocals, the weird like moments of change of the production, like they're still all there. It's obviously something they've thought about more. It's better done. The lyrics are better. It's obviously, I think even the girls enjoy themselves more in the performance. I still don't understand what they thought about their debut. Like it was, I think, unacceptable for a group like for a company like JYP. And I think they've done a better job now, definitely. I mean, it's undeniable, right? The song is solid. It's a good track in my opinion, and I think it's a good start from them in the future. I think it's also getting pretty good views, right? 45 million for a group that, overall, even when I look at reviews on Reddit, on Discord and stuff like that, it's a pretty people seem to enjoy it, overall. Like, they're not hating on it. They think they could do better, but they're not hating on it. I think the music video is also very good. It doesn't feel like they're rehashing stuff from other groups they have in the company. And also the way they approach different things like dancing, stuff like that, makes them stand out a little bit from the rest of the group, which now JYP has, I think, 3 active girl group, right? Am I mistaken? Yeah. It's ITZY, Twice, and Mix, so he has to be very good at and obviously needs you in Japan, so he has to be very, very good at like balancing them out and not making sure that they overlap each other stylistically, which is really, really hard, I think. Next we have a Posse Cut, from AMG, Simon Dominic, Wu, Kugi, and Loco, if I'm not this, and it's TTFU, which is Turn the Fuck Up. One of the best hip hop songs of the year. Great. Kugi kills it. He's the standout feature in here. Wu does his own thing. Loco does his own thing. Simon's obviously very good. A little bit too cringy for my own taste. Like I rarely cringe about stuff, but he kind of like in that phase in his 30s where he's like kind of becoming a boomer, where it's like everything now is like bad or not good and stuff like that. But his flows, his demeanor, his wordplay is always top tier, I think, in the Korean hip hop scene. Doesn't change the fact that I still think No Throwing Flames, which I think is no throw, no showing. I don't remember what it was called, but that EP is still one of the best, I think, project I've ever heard in Korean hip hop till this day. So hopefully someone comes back. Kugi impressed me the most, which makes me really, really curious to see what he's gonna do next. But yeah, it's a different change of pace. You know, I've said that energy for me is supposed to be the brand of the mainstream. This is not super mainstream anyway in Korea, so respect them for doing something a little bit different, right? Maybe J Park wanted that more, and since he's not there as much as he should be, maybe they're gonna try different things, and I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. But the song is very, very enjoyable. It's one of my favorites of this month, 100%. Rockin' Doll with Grey, another great song, you know, group that makes a full English length song with I think, pretty good lyrics in my opinion for a Korean group. They make sense, they fit, they actually tell something, and the production shows are very good. You know, it's this last year has been retro in every way, 80s, 90s, city pop, disco, like all of that jazz, even early 2000s punk rock. This has been the year in Korea, and they do this, right? It's pretty much a retro production. It's a retro inspired production, but it's done well, it's cool, it's simple, but it's effective, and the girls do a great job enhancing the song as well. Really, really good song by Rocket Doll in my opinion. Now, in the case of Survive, while the song is still enjoyable, you know, it's not as original as Grey for me. Therefore, I care about it a little bit less, but still an enjoyable track nonetheless. You know, it's just that it's a little bit more like 2022, like many other groups, and therefore I don't think it stands out as much as Grey. That's how I see it. And I'm actually happy to see that Grey is doing better numbers, you know? Like, they're growing their audience, and they're doing it, I think, in a good manner, which has to be respected, I think, from a smaller group, right? Which is cool. Next we have Yoojung from Wiki Meki with... Next we have Cho Yoojung from Wiki Meki with Sunflower Power Power... what is it? Power something love. I can't remember what E stands for. I'll check it later. I don't remember. But the song is really good. I think it's very catchy. It's very summery. The production is simple, but it works very well. I think Yoojung also does a pretty good job vocally. I don't know why they didn't promote this single. I mean, Yoojung is pretty popular in Korea. You could have pushed it a little bit. I hope she's going to radios and stuff like that, because she's pretty liked in Korea. She has a fan base, so the song is really enjoyable in my opinion. A great comeback, a great debut. I think this is her first single as an artist. I think this is a great debut for an artist that they've Fantagio barely promoted for whatever reason. Next we have Must Be with La Señorita. It's fine. It's pretty mediocre in my opinion. There's nothing about this song that stands out from Must Be. Production, vocals, lyrics, rapping sections. It's pretty much something I've heard a million times. They haven't been on a great run, Must Be, recently, but you know, they're a talented group. I think they're gonna get it back eventually. Next we have a solo song with Ore Ore. Great song, really, really good. I enjoyed the production. Her vocals are amazing. Her inflections in the voice I really, really like. And yeah, I've heard stuff from her in the past, and I've enjoyed it, and I'm enjoying this song as well. Like, she's an artist that I've discovered this year, and I'm really enjoying my discovery. You know, I'm getting more into, you know, individual solo artists in the last 2-3 years. I mean, into that in the past as well, but I would say the last 3 years I've been focused on that more than before. She's definitely, I would say, in that BB Park. If you get in Korea, like, she's in that park a little bit. They're different, but I think they're in that same like headspace when it comes to artistry, you know. Then we have another solo song which is still beautiful, but this song is more of a classic ballad, even though it has pretty interesting like ideas when it comes to production, also visually. But obviously, in my opinion, Ore Ore is the more interesting song. But this is also, I think, an enjoyable track in its own. Next we have Lei Zhang with Veil. Lei is back with another comeback. Right now he's mainly working in China. He's officially left SM. And, you know, it's a decent song. I found like it's a decent song for him. At least it keeps him active. He has been releasing a lot of music this year though, like even just on the low with singles and collaborations. He's been pretty active in his music industry. Obviously it's mainly in China, therefore you don't get a lot of that in Korea or even in America. You don't know that unless you follow his social medias and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a solid song. Not the best thing he has released this year, but, you know, it's not bad by any means. Next, you have Crush featuring J-Hope with Rush Hour. Great song, one of the best songs of the month, 100%. Crush is back with a funky, classic 80s hip hop, 80s, 90s sound, hip hop like a sounding beat. Good feature from J-Hope. Nothing super special in terms of lyrics or verse, but you know, he brings the energy that it's needed, and the chorus itself is quite fun. It's a fun song, it's different from everything Crush has released prior to going to the military, and it took quite of a big break. I think he's still under P Nation, or he might have left as well. But you know, it's a good song. Definitely brings him the number, brings him the notoriety back, and you know, brings a little bit of his eyes on his music, because he's released prior to that we're not getting as popular as they should have. And of course, Crush is one of the biggest artists in Korea, but you know, unfortunately, the pop music is not an untrustworthy mistress. You know, she can be your best friend, you can be charting every day, and then you take a break and nobody remembers you. So I'm happy he's still making music, and he's making quality music as well. Next, you have Lapillus with Gratata. Apart from the names, I hate these names. They're super bad, I think, and make the song not as memorable as they could. The song is fine. I still prefer Lapillus' debut. I wish they brought something a little bit more of that originality instead of keeping it the same way, similar to their debut, but at least they're active and they're making music, and I think that's a good thing for a group that is trying to grow and at least mark themselves in the industry. 3, 2, 1, via. Next we have JB with Up. Pretty good song, upbeat, fun, not the most original thing he has done, but it's quality. It has still that kind of summery vibe, you know, because it's still hot. I would assume the weather is hot also in Korea. And you know, this is the first single after leaving AOMG, which was, I thought, pretty unexpected, considering the fact that he signed not even a year ago. And actually, I thought it was the start of the year he signed to. It was almost a year, pretty much. So it's definitely been an interesting decision from him. But you know, it's a solid track, and I want to see what he does now. What he has, I would assume, more creative freedom, but curious to see what he's gonna do with that. Next, you have Jun with Limbo. This is the Korean version. Maybe he released the version either in Japanese or Chinese. I haven't heard it. It's a fine song, edgy, dark, kind of a noisy beat, noisy chorus, you know, distortions and stuff like that. It's definitely an enjoyable track. I wouldn't say it's memorable by any ways, but you know, I think this is his first single as a solo artist. Maybe he has released something before that, I do not remember. But, you know, it fits him pretty well, his image-wise and everything. So, curious to see what he's gonna do with that. I don't know if he released an EP with that, with this single, and definitely check it if he did, you know. Next we have Oddchild with Aram. Oddchild is ex-member of Bolbagan. I can't remember her name. I think her name was Gio as well. Great song. This actually feels like a Bolbagan song, surprisingly. It's super fucking fun. I love the vocals. I love the instrumentals. The feelings, the emotions the songs portray. It's clear to me that it's not that Bolbagan is bad. It's not, I'm gonna say the singer, say the most famous member right now, she's bad or anything, but you know, she has lost kind of like her friend. You know, they started this group together, and it doesn't matter what people say. You know, when you lose that person that was there with you from the start and kept you humble, and you decided to follow a production company and a label that kind of like makes your music a little bit like more artificial. And it's clear you're hearing the song that she was also the heart of the music, which was obvious. Also, I'm gonna say it, you know, when they appeared first time on Weekly Idol, I always forget her name, I'm sorry, but she was obviously very jealous, I would say, of yeah, Jiyoung. Her name was Jiyoung. Yes, Jiyoung. Jiyoung was obviously jealous of her. I didn't think too much about it, but obviously that shit carried it when they got more problems, getting more money. Obviously, they have a picture where Jiyoung has an umbrella over her head, and Jiyoung is in the rain. This type of thing left a bad taste in people's mouth, but hopefully she makes good music. She's really good, so hopefully she keeps making music. She took a big break, and even if she does it sporadically, I think it's good for us music fans at least, you know. Next we have Chamina featuring Ash Island with Don't Go. She's in this like punk, kind of like modern pop punk type of stuff again. It's solid. I can't say it's bad. I think Ash gives a solid verse. Actually, in this one, I really enjoy his part a lot. The chorus is definitely more enjoyable, I would say, to her previous stuff that she has done with the same style. But it's not something that I'm gonna go and listen to a million times. It's a style that I grew up with, so I'm kind of tired of hearing it now in my 20s. I want to hear something a little bit different. Simple as that. Next we have Kim Autumn, Goodbye, Good Night Summer, right? Goodbye Summer. And this is 5 minutes. It's actually, I think, two or three different songs. Synthwave, city pop, 80s pop music, Korean, Japanese pop music, infusions, great production, more on the synthwave side with the electronics and stuff like that. And it's very enjoyable. It's a very, very enjoyable 5 minutes for me personally. And it's a good song that I listen to when I'm playing games or when I just want to chill and read a book. It's a good way for me to just enjoy it. It's not overly grand, it's not too noisy, it's enjoyable, and it makes me feel good. And I like, as I said, this trend of this type of song coming back. I think it's good. Next we have 10 centimeter and Big Naughty with Just 10 centimeter. This is the most 10 centimeter song you're gonna ever hear in your life. It's kind of boring. I expected something different from both, but it's enjoyable vocally, at least. Next we have Classy, and I think it's called Summer Project Vacation Volume 4. Enjoyable, like I said, cute, girly, high school vibes, girls' school vibe type of shit. They've been doing this. It's an enjoyable song. Wouldn't go back to it as much personally because I preferred other stuff from Classy personally. It's kind of disappointing in a way, but I'm not overly critic of this song specifically because it's something they've done more on the side. It's not like a true big comeback they've done. Tama, Complicated, another amazing song by Tama. The vocals, the production, the chorus. He has improved so much as an artist. Not because he was bad when I discovered him, but you can clearly feel like he has grown a lot in a very short amount of time. From the aesthetics, the sounds, the vocals, the production, the way he does his choruses, his features choices, they're not thrown there, and it's a great song, really, really good. Tama has been one of my favorite artists of this year, and I don't think he has released a full-length album. I'm pretty sure, and hopefully he does before the end of the year. Maybe he did that, I didn't know of it, but I checked recently. It was like a month ago, and there was none of that. I haven't heard it as well, no social media and stuff like that, but I'll definitely give it a check. I hope he does because he's such a great artist, and I would love if he caps it out at the end of the day with a great album, which then he can be inserted in the top 10 list or top 20, whatever that would be the case. Next we have Gravity with Party Rock. Not the biggest fan of this comeback personally. I felt like this comeback compared to the stuff they've done before, it's kind of just okay. You wanted to do something different, and I think it's partially fine, but it's not as high quality as the stuff they've done in the past. It's boring, it's simple, takes no sort of risks. The only risk was, look, we've done a different style, so we're kind of a little bit more, we're not stuck in their one specific way of making K-pop, which is fine. But if you're gonna do it another way, it has to stick. And for me personally, this one hasn't stick as much as their other stuff personally. Limelight with Eye to Eye. It's a decent song, I would say. The production is just too much. It's too noisy. It covers sometimes the vocals as well. But it's an enjoyable song by Limelight. Limelight is one of these groups that it's kind of there right now. They haven't really impressed me, but they're not bad. So they're in that limbo. At this point, I'm waiting in 2023 and see what they're gonna do there. Because this year for them has been okay, but nothing impressive so far. Next we have BB with Animal Farm. It's a fine song, personally. I don't think this is one of her best singles. The production is something she has always used. The vocals, the chorus, it's a restamp. It's a copy of things she's done in the past, but the lyrics are not as interesting. It's obviously that she's trying to cater more to an American audience, obviously, to a Western audience, which she has achieved received an amount of like support that maybe she didn't expect originally, but she's getting. Also with a lot of collaboration with 88 Rising, but I think that normally originally has hurt a little bit of her quality of her music. This one is not as good as the stuff she's done in the past, and it's more like, look, I had a comeback and that's fine. In fact, the credits, it's another song, it's better than Animal Farm. So overall, it's not a bad song, but personally I felt like it's a little bit disappointing. And again, it's like they spend more time with the visuals and like again, pleasing this image of BB with the Western fans, than actually pushing on her music and pushing with her qualities, which is her artistry. Because if she then pushes that, her numbers and her popularity will grow automatically. But I'm just disappointed because I know she can do better. But the video is good. I mean, if that's what you want to tell you, it's a good video. But I just know she can do way better than this, because if you heard her past EP, it's way more interesting than this one. And it seems like, okay, look, it's for people that now are interested in me, and it's edgy, it's overly edgy for no reason, and I think she can be better than this, my opinion. Mireille, Drip and Drop, not a fan of this, unfortunately. It's another one of these songs where I feel like I don't really get their the direction of this song at all, from the production, from the vocals, like the chorus. It seems like they had an idea, then they probably changed their mind. It's a classic song. Maybe they start with a concept and then they start like adding stuff and like and going and like changing small stuff here and there, which make the song for me not particularly enjoyable. I have to say, boy groups this month have not been very impressive at all. They've not been that good in my opinion, and Mira unfortunately caps September in a way that it kind of leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth. Next is Changjo with Danger. Solid song by Changjo, good vocals, the rapping section is fine, the chorus is cool. I have nothing really more to say about this. It's pretty basic, but at least he's doing something a little bit different. As well, it's interesting to see rappers trying to be more singers. That's not something you see a lot in America. There's people obviously like JID or like stuff, Denzel, who have been always singing in their stuff. But it's rare to see somebody that's known for his bars try to go more pop. And I'm gonna talk about another guy who did the same, even more often than this in a couple of songs, I'm pretty sure. Adora, Magical Symphony. Pretty good song, I enjoyed it. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the production, I love the energy, I love the chorus. It definitely stands out, I think, in the girl group now, like Meta. They really stand out in my opinion, and it really makes them sound different, and the music video is really cool. I don't know where they shot it, but it's really interesting. It's kind of a musical. It's obviously the company's investing in them, but they're not investing. I think they're investing in a very smart way, where the music is still the number one thing, and the visual and stuff like this complement the music. A lot of times you see it. I love ITZY, I love other groups, but the reality is these groups are like, even Blackpink, they're more of a visual group. Especially ITZY used to be a quality group at one point. Now they're definitely more visual. Stray Kids invests a lot in their visual as well, where they push that more than the music itself sometimes. It's not always the case with certain groups, but it's interesting to see Adora being one of the few groups, I think, right now, of the younger groups doing that regularly. The music, and then we build the music video around it, not the opposite, or like, oh no, if this group has this aesthetic, we cannot really deviate too much from it, which is kind of sad. Having said that, I really enjoy it, but I wouldn't be surprised if people say, it's not my cup of tea, because, it's particular in its small way, and it's not like the most experimental stuff ever, but I can see a K-pop fan who's not used to this type of sound not enjoying it as much. Xiumin with Brand New. It's a solid single in my opinion, debut. I think compared to the other guys, the thing with Xiumin, I don't know him. I don't know his personality, what he likes. So he can be everything in his music, can also be nothing. I feel like if you look at Onyo, if you look at what they did with the Sam, or like Dio, Kai, it's easier to understand where they are, and actually they've worked towards that. Xiumin, it's like we're gonna go with the basic concept, basic song, still quality song, don't get me wrong, and do that, because he can be a little bit of everything. But I don't really know him, even though I've been a fan of his in the group for a long time. It's like I don't know anything about the guy, so the music just fits him, but it could not be fitting him. It's a very hard situation, but overall it's fine. Bio featuring Zico with Complex, another song where Bio just sings. I don't think he's a good singer, unfortunately. The chorus is catchy, don't get me wrong, but I wish he stopped singing. Like, it's bad to say, I guess, but he's not good at it. And it's not just simple, oh, okay, I'm not good singing and that's it. It's like, that affects the quality of the song, because Zico killed it with his feature. Good feature, adds a lot of value to it, and Bio feels more like the feature than Zico, you know, that's a problem. If you want to sing, fine, but I want to hear him rap. He's really good at rapping. That's, I think, what also Korean fans love about him. That's why people really fuck with him, to the point that he might win Male Music Awards as a guy who doesn't come from a big company. So you hope with time that Bio starts understanding his strengths and not trying to go to mainstream, because he's already mainstream. It doesn't need to be more mainstream than this, you know. And denaturalizing yourself or becoming more artificial, unfortunately, I don't think is gonna help him as much as he thinks. EXID with Fire. I love EXID, one of my favorite groups ever. I think the greatest Cinderella story in K-pop history. But this song just screams that they're out of their time at this point, because it's not that they're individually bad, or obviously they stopped being like quality idols or anything like that, or quality performers, but the song has no personality. It doesn't feel like an EXID song. It doesn't matter what young motherfucker is gonna tell you. Go listen to their last singles and then come to this and tell me it's anywhere close to it. It's not. It doesn't have the personality of the girls. The production doesn't feel like an EXID song. It's just a noisy kind of like Latin production with like a heavy bass and heavy drop, but it's not EXID. And I'm like, this is classic. This is a classic example of something that they wanted to do. It's not doing the numbers that I think they thought it was gonna do, because 5 million views, it's good, obviously, but man, they used to get 60, 70 in the past, 20, 30, 40, you know. It's like, they're definitely watching and looking at it bad, but the reality is, who's gonna hear this song and think it's good? Some people might, but I think a lot of the OG fans are not going to enjoy it as much. And for a group that has done so much for the genre, seeing them coming back and giving us a song that's not good and it's not up to their standards, it definitely hurts. It hurts a lot. But it also shows us, I think, when they decided to disband, as much as I didn't understand why they would do that considering the success they had individually, I can understand why they did that. It's obviously they had no interest in working with each other anymore, and I think this is a classic example of it was better if they left it without having to do it anymore. It would have been better. The song Lamla with Starlight, pretty good song, definitely better than the other one they released this month. It's fun, I love the production, I love the aesthetic, kind of like a video game production type of thing they did. Still cute, still very bright, which is their style. And this was it for September. Overall, I think one of the worst months, if not the worst month of the year. There was some solid music here and there, sometimes even quality, but for the most part, stuff that could have been more interesting, better, hasn't really came out. All of the big groups have disappointed me to a certain extent, so it has been one of the weakest months, unfortunately. I don't want to waste too much time, because today I have also to record the October part and to release it, hopefully, if not today, tomorrow. And so all that, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and see you next time.